Hello, let's get into tips and tricks to help you up your game. When it comes to moving metal and other heavy materials around for crafting, it can take forever. But there are ways to move, no matter what you weigh, allowing you to move slight caps of metal or anything else at once. The first tool you will have access to is the amazing chair. The chair is great for lots of things. You can simply put it down and sit down, then stand up and pick it up, and put it down in front of you and sit in it again, and just keep doing this to move. Another way would be to set chairs up from where you sort or smelt heavy mats all the way to the area you craft the mat. Then you can just sit, stand until you get to where you need to be. The trick to this method is the chairs should only be about a foundation space apart. Any further and you might not be able to reach them. They also only work one way, so you may want a second set right next to the first set facing the opposite direction. Of course, a well-built crafting area can reduce the amount of moving you need to do. If you would like a video on how to set up a great crafting station, let us know in the comments below. The next tool available to you that works well is the zipline and zipline motor. You will need 4 to 8 pillars depending on how you want to set this up. Place the zipline a little less than halfway up the second pillar, and that will be the high end. Then head over the opposite set of pillars and place the line slightly lower than halfway up the second pillar. This way you can reach the zipline without jumping because you can't jump encumbered, and also it's not so low that you'll hit the ground and stop ziplining as you go across. Now if you want to use a 2 zipline method, then you set the second one up with the high side by the first one's low side. But when encumbered, 2 ziplines do not work well without a chair to help you move between them. Something to be aware of when using the zipline encumbered: be very careful about hitting jump. You could go flying and just be stuck somewhere. It is best to use the dismount button. E for PC, Y for Xbox. The best way to use ziplines is with the zipline motor. You'll need gas in your inventory, and of course, you'll need to drop the zipline motor onto a pair of pants to use them. It's like equipping a skin. Then you can just zoom around Beetlejuice style with slot caps and mats. You can also jump while using the zipline motor and hit the dismount button to grab a zipline, allowing for some pretty intricate builds. And one of the best methods out there is to use the Tek Suit. You can use the legs to run in straight lines, and if you're encumbered, you can use the fists to launch in the air, or you can activate your jetpack to stay in the air and move around. This is a great way to run off with raid loot, which brings us to a great tip. When using the Tek Suit, use the Tek Punch while in the air and immediately open your map. This will keep you from stopping at the end of a Tek Punch and launch you through the air. Rinse and repeat to travel fast. This could also save you quite a bit of element if done correctly. You can also use this trick to change direction mid-air without losing velocity. The next tip we have is about beds. The first bed you get access to is a sleeping bag, and if you have multiple sleeping bags down, you will notice that the cooldown to use a second one is very long. There is a way around this though. You can simply pick up the second sleeping bag when you respawn and place it back down, or place a new one and you will get a reset timer for the sleeping bag. Then the regular bed has a decently long cooldown timer between uses, so you end up needing a lot down for a raid. The bunk bed has one of the shortest cooldown timers for beds and is quite good for use in raids. The Tek sleeping pod has a similar cooldown to a bunk bed. They also remove swamp fever, rabies, radiation, fill your health, hunger, and thirst. They remove torpor and grant passive XP while in them. Speaking of swamp fever, another way to get rid of it without the antidote is to travel to Scorched Earth, or drink wyvern milk. Another trick that is pretty neat: if you have a container that can hold water, you can simply walk into the water on whatever dino you're riding, put the containers in the dino's inventory, and hit E on the container, filling it. This is so much safer than dismounting to fill the water. The capros are always lurking just out of sight to jump and grab you while you're getting water. If you find yourself against a really good sniper or aimbotter, you can simply sit on a stego and snipe back with no fear getting shot, as long as the stego is in armor mode. You will have some sway, but you can counteract that, bringing us to our next tip. When using a scope, there will be sway while trying to aim. We can reduce sway in a couple of ways, and a combination will greatly reduce sway. One way is by adding a silencer to the gun. This will reduce sway by a little bit. If we add crouching, the sway will be a little less. The next way to reduce sway is to lay down. This will greatly reduce sway. The best way to reduce sway though is to eat a shadow steak. Shadow steak takes sway to the point where it's like you're laying down. Combine this with a silencer and or crouching, and you have such little sway it's basically point and click to hit your target. Which brings us to our next tip. Cooked mutton can be used in place of cooked prime meat for recipes like shadow steak. Then there are shotguns. These bad boys pack a punch. But did you know the closer you are to the target, the more damage the shotgun deals? So if you want to save some ammo, get in close. When swimming, if you have Lazarus Chowder, you can hold your breath longer and wear armor instead of an oxygen tank. When you're almost out of oxygen, just pop your tank on until you're full, then put your flak back on. This is a great way to use the Sino underwater as well, as the Sino doesn't work while you're wearing an oxygen tank. When you go underwater, make sure to bring a chair with you. Another use for a chair is to place it while underwater so you can sit in it and recover stamina. You can also eat and drink sitting in a chair underwater. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button. Have an awesome day.